everyone, my name is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am here to start Vlogmas week 1. So for December, I'm doing my own version of Vlogmas where I will be vlogging every single day and I will be releasing weekly reading vlogs for the entire month of December. I did this last year in 2021 and I had so much fun doing that little project. So I'm gonna link those vlogs up in the cards above. I have a whole playlist and I actually recently rewatched those vlogs and it just made me feel so nostalgic and it was just so fun. So I thought I would continue that this year. So today is Tuesday and as you can see, my Christmas tree is now up, and I know I included B-roll of me putting the tree together and putting the lights on it and everything. So the tree is almost completely decorated. I need to put ornaments on it and I'll do that probably within the next couple of days. I'm not really sure. I think you guys could tell that last night I was having way too much fun playing with my new Christmas tree lights. I just got a string of like LED Christmas lights, which are going to last a lot longer than traditional lights. Like this is actually a pre-lit tree, but over the years, it was actually my brother and sister-in-law's tree before they moved out of this house. And so I've noticed that over the years, like more and more of the lights keep going out. So I just decided to get a string of fancy lights that I can put onto different modes and just have way too much fun with. So yeah, let's get into what I want to talk about though in this reading update. Today is Tuesday. Yesterday was a very long day for me. Mondays are my crazy days of the week because that's when I teach all of my classes at the studio that I work at, and I'm also teaching some voice lessons and things like that. And my sleep schedule has been absolute poopy lately. I need to get that under control. I've been staying up way too late and then I sleep in way too long. But yeah, let's get into some book mail that I have and then I'll get into what I'm reading at the moment. So first of all, I have a pre-order that came in yesterday. So let me get this open. So this is from the Meet Cute Romance Bookshop in San Diego, California. They were doing a pre-order campaign for one of my most anticipated releases of the year. That is Villain, I'd Like to F. This is an anthology of historical romance novellas by Sierra Simone, Joanna Shupe, Eva Lee, Nicola Davidson, and Adriana Herrera. Oh my God, I am so excited to have this in my hands. I am obsessed with this cover. And then, ooh, I got some little goodies. So this, it looks like it's a sticker with all of the author's signatures on it. Love that. I also got a bookmark from the Meet Cute Romance Book Club. So cute. Purple's my favorite color, so I'm obsessed with that. And then they just included a postcard and it says, "Packed with love by Jasmine, happy reading. 2 other stickers coming separately." Okay. And then I have a sticker, it says, "It takes a villain." And so I did a pre-order campaign from, I believe, a different bookshop when Rake I'd Like to F came out, and I also got stickers with that pre-order. And so yeah, anytime that these authors decide to do a collaboration, I'm gonna go ahead and pre-order it to get the cute stickers and everything, and also just to support smaller bookshops, you know. So there's that. And then I saw yesterday I got a package from my dear friend Ava from Ava's Romance Books. By the way, if you're not following her, what are you doing, you know? But oh, she sent a little card with my name on it. Aw, oh yes, she messaged me at some point last week to ask me if I wanted this book. She was getting rid of some of the books on her shelf. And I had no clue that Demi Lovato came out with a book. This is like an old book though. I think this is from like 2013. Yeah, her grandma gave this to her in 2013. Oh, this is interesting. I've never seen a book quite like this before. It says she has faced struggles ranging from addiction to depression, and she still does deal with that for sure. All the while on a search for self-discovery and happiness, Demi has chronicled her journey in the media, in her song lyrics, and to her 17 million followers on Twitter. Those tweets evolved into Staying Strong, a powerful 365-day collection of Demi's most honest, brave, and hopeful insights. Here are her own words with quotes that inspire her, as well as personal reflections and goals. That is so cool. What is the, oh, and then here's what the naked hardback looks like. Okay, so then I have books that I bought myself. So I have recently, very recently, become obsessed with Ruta Sepetys, who is a YA historical fiction author. So specifically, I very recently read I Must Betray You, which is Ruta Sepetys' most recent release. This came out this year in 2022. This is a fantastic YA historical fiction that is about the Romanian Revolution in 1989. I don't want to go too much into this plot because I'm going to talk about this book a lot in my end of November reading wrap up, but this is about how in 1989 in Romania, there was just this insane communist regime going on, and I forget what the dictator's name was. I can't remember off the top of my head. Like, this regime was so horrible that someone is quoted to saying it was so out of control that it even out-Stalined Stalin. And Ruta Sepetys, I think, is pretty well known for writing historical fiction novels about parts of history that just aren't talked about nearly enough. So I had no idea about what was going on in Romania at the time. I feel like we talk a lot about the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989, but we don't talk about what was going on in other countries that were under communist rule at the time. This book was absolutely incredible, definitely one of my top favorite books of the year, and I have to give a shout out to Ashley from Bookish Realm because she has been recommending this book a lot throughout the year since she's read it, and if it wasn't for her recommendation, I probably would not have picked this up when I did. So thank you so much, Ashley. This book was amazing, and because I read this book, I decided that I needed to own more books by Ruta Sepetys. So I have a copy of Salt to the Sea, which is actually Ashley's top recommendation by Ruta Sepetys, and I think this is also her most famous work, definitely one of her earlier books. So this is chronicling the single greatest tragedy in maritime history that happened during World War II, and nobody ever talks about it because I had never heard of this event before. I mean, everybody talks about the Titanic, and obviously that was a very tragic event, but apparently this was like even worse, which is absolutely insane. So I'm definitely planning on picking this one up next when I do pick up a Ruta Sepetys book. But I also placed an order on Amazon. They were doing a buy two get one free deal, and so I bought two other books by this author. First of all, we have Out of the Easy, which I'm particularly excited about because this takes place in New Orleans in the 1950s, and this is about our main character Josie. She wants to get out of living in New Orleans, I think mainly because her mother is a sex worker and she's kind of been trapped in her life with her mother. But this just sounds really interesting. I don't know if this is chronicling like a specific event in history or just the time period and the atmosphere itself, but I love this new cover. The original cover was just like a bird cage. There wasn't much to it, but I really like this new cover. And then finally, I have The Fountains of Silence. I believe this came out around 2019, something like that. So it's been a few years since Ruta Sepetys has come out with a book, because there was this book and then I Must Betray You came out this year. But this one takes place in Madrid, 1957. Under the oppressive dictatorship of General Francisco Franco, Spain is hiding a dark secret. And then it looks like, I think this one might have a romance in it. I think her books usually do have a romance. There definitely was a romance going on in I Must Betray You. And I think that she writes romance really well. So very excited about all of these books. I love finding a potential new all-time favorite author. I think that Ruta Sepetys could be that for me. And so let's get into a reading update finally. I feel like I've been filming for so long. Oh my God. So I'm currently in the middle of Real by the Queen, Kennedy Ryan. I'm actually buddy reading this right now with my friend Victoria. I will link her channel down in the description below. Please go give her a follow. I love her and her content. And so we decided to read 10 chapters a day from this, and then we've been sending voice memos back and forth on Instagram about our thoughts on the 10 chapters that we read. So I'm currently on chapter 53. I think there's about 70 chapters, so I have like 100 pages left. This book is a journey. It is an experience. It, to me, reads like historical fiction, but also contemporary romance. Like, there's a lot of different genres kind of coming together into one book, and I think that it's done incredibly well. I'm gonna say up front, you need to get the audiobook. Oh my god. The audiobook is absolutely insane, so well done. The narrators were perfectly cast as these characters. There's also some music on the audiobook that is just stunning. The vocalist that they got for the audiobook, she's amazing. Oh my goodness. But just to tell you about the basic plot of this, we have Neva pictured here and Cannon. So Cannon is a film director. He is working on a biopic of this woman, Desi Blue, who was a jazz singer back in like the 30s and the 40s, but basically history buried her. Nobody really knows who Desi was and how amazing that she was. And so Cannon wants to make a biopic about her life. And so he's been struggling to cast someone as Desi. And so he comes across Neva, our heroine, when she is understudying a lead role on Broadway, and the lead actress goes on vacation, and so Neva takes over the lead role for about a week. And so Cannon goes to one of her performances and is just fascinated and mesmerized by her and her talent. And so he immediately decides that she needs to be his Desi Blue. And so there's kind of this forbidden romance aspect to it, because Cannon had a relationship with one of his actresses in the past, and it ended really, really badly. So as much as they're both attracted to each other, he is trying his best to keep Neva at arm's length. And Neva is very well aware of all of that drama for the past, so she's also trying to keep things professional, but they just have insane chemistry and this amazing connection with each other. And what's insane about this book is that when it comes to romance novels in general, I don't usually annotate them. The only books that I annotate are fantasy novels. Every now and then I'll annotate a science fiction book. But as soon as I started this book, I immediately had to get my annotating pen that I use to underline like all my favorite quotes and write little reactions in the margins and stuff, because that's how amazingly written this book is. Oh my god. Like I said, it's just so many different genres in one. I love that we get a ton of excerpts from the script of the Desi film and how that is incorporated into Cannon and Neva's story. Wow, like this is just incredible. And I'm glad that I am reading it 10 chapters at a time and I have someone to rant and rave to, like Victoria, because this is the kind of book that you don't want to rush through. You know, you really want to savor your time with it. Take the time to underline your favorite quotes and just kind of sit with it, you know. I've had a few friends recommend this to me quite a few times because this has to do with the film industry as well as the musical theater industry, because Neva she starts out as a stage actress. And if you guys don't know, I myself am a singer and an actor. I can move well enough. I'm not like a dancer, but I'm like a spirited mover is what I would say. I'm definitely more of a singer and an actor. And so yes, like those aspects of the story I really, really appreciate as well. Also, there is chronic illness representation in this because Neva has lupus, and obviously I can't speak to how accurate the representation is, but I do appreciate how it's incorporated into the story and into Neva's character. Makes me kind of sad that this is indie published because I want this book to reach as many people as possible, and that's always a challenge when it comes to indie published books. And I don't think this is a book that ever went viral on Book Talk or anything like that. But please, if you're watching this video, please put this on your immediate TBR and get the audiobook and thank me later. But in terms of what else I'm reading, I really want to start For Real by Alexis Hall. This is one of the books that I featured in my 10 books I want to read before the end of the year. And by the way, Real was featured in that video as well. So I've been doing pretty good getting through those 10 books. I think I've read 5 I think 5 or 6 of the books on that list. So that's pretty good. So I have all of December to get through the rest of the books on that list. So this is a BDSM romance where we have an age gap as well, and the older hero is actually the submissive and the younger hero is the dominant. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this, especially from Jen from the book Refuge. She's recommended this quite a few times. And yeah, like I need to read it. This has been a very, oh my goodness, a very long update. I need to go, I need to read, and I will talk to you guys at some point, maybe tomorrow or maybe Thursday. I'm not quite sure how much I want to update you guys with these vlogs, but I'll try my best to give you guys a daily update. Who do we have here? A baby girl who just needs to go walking today. Oh, my sweet girl. You ready? Huh? You ready to walk? Let's go. Right, it's Wednesday, my dudes, and I have a bit of a reading update for you guys. I was having a good time last night listening to the rest of Real by Kennedy Ryan while doing some more decorating on my tree. I put the ornaments on the tree. And then today I had to return some things to Amazon, so I just went to my UPS store and then went on a walk with my mom and Chloe. She was very restless today. Chloe, not my mom. So yeah, it's just so cute because when it cools down outside, it's been a little warm the past couple of weeks, like 60s, 70s outside. And so today it was like lower 60s, and then tonight it's supposed to get into the 40s. So because it's getting cooler outside, she gets frisky and just so adorable. So yeah, let's talk about Real. Like, I don't even know where to start this review. I think I told you guys I was buddy reading this with Victoria, and I'm so glad that I had somebody that I could rant and rave to. Every 10 chapters, we would send each other voice memos of our reactions and our favorite quotes and things like that. Because I'm sure my thoughts are much more eloquent on those voice memos than they're gonna be here in this vlog. Because, like, how do I even give you a succinct review without going into every little thing that I loved about this book, right? This is just so... It's such an experience. It's such a journey. You don't get that with every romance novel, you know? Like, this had a unique vibe to it because we've got the romance between Canon and Neva, but we've also got the story of Desi Blue. It's like the connection between Canon and Neva, it's truly soul deep. It is, wow, like one of the most romantic books I've read this year. And even though this is a contemporary romance, this kind of felt like a romance beyond the restraints of time, if that even makes sense. Like, it absolutely stunning. Like, I don't even, wow. This is going to be a series, thank goodness. And the next book is going to be about Verity and Monk. And we're gonna get even more behind the scenes content of the Desi Blue film, which I'm so excited about, because at the end of this, I was sad because we don't get to see like the premiere of the movie or the end product or anything like that. And it's because she's going to write more about it in the next book. So very, very excited about that. And then I was talking to Tiffany from Tiff Talks Pages, and she said that Kennedy Ryan did a live stream, I guess some months back. And apparently after she's finished writing the book that she's currently writing, her next project is going to be book 2 of this series. And oh my God, I cannot wait. Kennedy Ryan is like ruining me for other romance authors. Like, oh my God. I need to read more from her, but I'm not exactly sure what I'm in the mood for. I definitely want to read Before I Let Go soon. That's her most recent release. And I've read her Grip trilogy and I really enjoyed that. I'm so glad I have the physical copy. So I got my physical copy from the bookstore. It's called Eagle Eye Bookshop in Decatur, Georgia. This is the bookshop that Kennedy signs books at, and I guess it's her local bookshop. And so I was able to get a signed copy when I was in Atlanta with some of my amazing bookish friends back in June, and I'm just so happy that I have this copy. By the way, I got my tour shirt from Demi's Holy Fuck tour. I'm so excited to have this because that concert was truly the best concert I've ever been to, and I needed a souvenir. I needed it. And so then in terms of what I'm reading now, so it's November 30th today, and that marks the last day of the 30 in 30 manga challenge. So while I've been reading books, I have also been reading at least one manga volume a day. So my goal for tonight is to read one more volume and then I will have completed that challenge. But I also have been listening to the audiobook and following along with the ebook of For Real by Alexis Hall. I know I talked about this in my last update. I am 30% of the way through, and I can tell you guys now, this is probably going to be a 5-star read. Oh my goodness. This is such a fantastic BDSM romance, and I'm so glad that Jen has raved and raved so much about this book, because I probably wouldn't have picked it up when I did, even though this book has been sitting on my Kindle for a couple of years, and I got the audiobook off of Audible a couple years ago at this point as well. But this is such a cool and unique story. We're like 2 for 2 at the moment with Alexis Hall, because I read A Lady for a Duke back in May and I gave that 5 stars, absolutely loved it. And so this is looking like a 5-star read as well. But yeah, we have Toby and Lori, our 2 heroes. Toby is 19, Lori is 37. Lori, the older hero, is a sub, and Toby is a dom. What's so interesting and fascinating about this relationship is, well, one, they had immediate instant chemistry. But while in a submissive, dominant sexual relationship, like I said, Toby is a dom, Lori is a sub, when they're not in a sexual setting, it almost flips, because Lori is older. He's almost 20 years older than Toby, and so we see that when they're not in a sexual situation, Lori kind of has to be the more dominant person, or maybe even like a little bit bossy of Toby, and it just like really works for them. It's hard for me to explain, because I can't say that like Lori is like totally dominant over Toby outside of the bedroom, but there's just an interesting flip of the dynamic when they're in real life. I am just vibing, and I love the way that he writes about their specific BDSM relationship and how they serve each other. It's almost 10 p.m. I need to go edit a video. I am doing a collab with Samantha from Books with Samantha, where she's doing Trope Week. That's like a tradition on her channel where every day for an entire week she comes out with a different video about one of her favorite romance tropes. And so we collaborated talking about our favorite books with the found family trope. So I had a ton of fun filming that. I think I filmed that on Sunday, and now I need to edit it so that I can upload it and have it up Friday morning. So you guys will definitely see that before this vlog gets posted. So I'll have that linked up in the cards above. All right, hopefully I'm in focus. I can't see too well because the camera is further away from me than normal. But anyways, I have some happy mail to show you guys. Jen from the Book Refuge sent me a package. Okay, I don't know what this is. I just opened the envelope. I haven't seen anything. Aw, she got me a music bookmark. Jen, this is actually perfect because I have been misplacing bookmarks lately, so I can always use more. Jen, thank you for the sweet card, and I'm lucky to have you as a friend as well. Let's see. Ooh! Oh, is this a, like a Kindle sleeve? Look at it! It's Belle from Beauty and the Beast! I'm obsessed. Jen, do you know that purple's my favorite color? Like, how, have we talked about that? How do you know? Actually, I wanna see, does my Kindle fit in here? It does, it fits perfectly. Oh my God, Jen! Thank you so much. And I don't think I've ever talked about this before, but I have played Mrs. Potts in a production of Beauty and the Beast when I was in high school, and I actually also played the wardrobe in a separate production of Beauty and the Beast like later that same year, because like everybody was doing that show when I was in high school. So this just means so much to me. So, reading update, I just finished For Real by Alexis Hall, and I ended up giving it like 3.5 stars, unfortunately. I really thought I was gonna love this. I think you guys could tell in my last update, I thought I was gonna give this 5 stars. I still really enjoyed the interesting and complex dominant submissive relationship we have going on with Toby and Lori. Because like I said, their dynamic kind of flips when they're not in a sexual situation. But I felt the pacing to be quite slow sometimes. And because of that, I started zoning in and out while listening to the audiobook. Yeah, I just wasn't as engaged in the story as I thought I would have been. And as much as I really liked Toby and Lori and the side characters, I also wasn't as emotionally attached to them as I thought I was going to be. And I think that might be because the pacing of their relationship was a little off. Like I felt like they kind of got together too quickly. They still had a lot of issues in their relationship, but they were kind of like together by about like the 45% mark. And so the rest of the book was kind of the two of them put in different situations together and dealing with their communication issues and lots of sex scenes in this, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. Something about the pacing of both the story and the romance was off for me. So unfortunately, this was not a home run, but I still definitely enjoyed it for what it was. I probably will read more from Alexis Hall. I'm just not quite sure what. I'm thinking of checking out Something Fabulous. That is an MM historical rom-com. So I might read that because that is free to read and listen on Kindle Unlimited, and I love that. I'm feeling a little slumpy right now. I do think part of that is my mental health has definitely been deteriorating over the past few months. And I think today is just a particularly bad day mental health wise. Basically, I deal with depression, and some days are better than others, and today is just like a weirdly like kind of numb feeling day. I don't know, and maybe that's part of the reason why I didn't love For Real as much as I wanted to. Maybe it's my mindset. I don't know. I will talk to you guys tomorrow at some point probably, and hopefully I will have picked up something that sparks joy. I do have a reading update for you guys, but first I want to show you guys a couple things. Oh, when I was opening the package that I got from Jen, I neglected to look further in the envelope that she sent me, and she actually also included some bookish stickers. So this one is just a book refuge sticker. This one says shame-free zone, read what you want. And then this one says book boyfriend collector, which I certainly am one of those. So I just wanted to quickly mention that, like, thank you so much, Jen, once again for sending that to me. But as you saw from the B-roll clip that I included today, I decided to go to my local library and I got some goodies that I'm so excited about. Lately, honestly, in the past year, I have not gone to my library to get physical books just because I love my Kindle so much, and it's so much more convenient for me to just go on my Libby app and borrow ebooks and audiobooks and things like that. But last night I was just in the mood to get some physical books without spending any money. So, you know, going to your library gives you the same high basically as going book shopping, you know. So I'm so excited about these books for sure. First of all, I have All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. This actually won the National Book Award this year for young adult literature. So it is a contemporary, which I don't think Sabaa Tahir has ever come out with one. She is well known for writing the Ember and the Ashes series, which is a YA fantasy. But this one, it looks like it's told in dual timelines. One is in Pakistan and one is in California now. I don't really know what this is about at all, and I don't want to know. I've just heard really good things about it, and I know that it's going to be a hard-hitting contemporary, and there's going to be some really great diversity and representation in this as well. I also checked out Persepolis. This is the story of a childhood. So this is the version that is in 2 volumes essentially, but there is also a version that is just called like the complete Persepolis. This one is story of childhood, and then the second volume is story of a return. So this is a story and a graphic novel that has come highly recommended from quite a few booktubers. Basically, whenever I look up videos for graphic novel recommendations, this is usually on the list. This is a graphic memoir. And fairly recently, I was watching a video that Ashley from Bookish Realm put out. And I can't remember which video it was, but she was raving about this. And so I was like, you know what? I finally need to pick up this book. I'm just going to kind of briefly look at the synopsis here, but it says it was originally published to wide critical acclaim in France, where it elicited comparisons to Art Spiegelman's Mouse. So this is a wise, funny, and heartbreaking memoir of growing up in Iran during the Islamic Revolution, which I believe that was the 1970s, if I'm not mistaken. And then finally, I have Gilded by Marissa Meyer. This is book 1 in a duology or a duet that is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. Again, I don't know anything about this story other than that, but I have been a fan of Marissa Meyer for a long time. I mean, I read the Lunar Chronicles back in 2018, and ever since then, I've read most of her backlist at this point. The only book that I can think of that I have no interest in reading is Instant Karma, which is more of a contemporary that I had heard really not great things about. But I'm very intrigued about this because I can remember, maybe I was reading an interview that Marissa Meyer did some years back, or watching a video that she was in, and I remember her talking about wanting to do a Rumpelstiltskin retelling at some point in her career. So I'm very intrigued. I'll probably jump into these relatively soon because I have these out on loan for 2 weeks, though I could renew them if somebody hasn't put them on hold, but I like to get through my library books relatively quickly. So reading update. Last night I did not know what to read, so I had Sink or Swim by Mathematics borrowed on my Hoopla, so I decided to go ahead and start listening to it last night. This series, the entire series, is on Hoopla, the audiobooks at least. And these are MM Dinosaur Shifter romances. You heard that right. So book 1 was Smash and Grab. I loved that book. I gave it 5 stars, but I had heard so many people raving about this book in particular, book 2, in that it's just like a really great Grumpy Sunshine romance. And there was like a fake engagement involved as well. And so I was really excited going into this because I just felt like after reading For Real and being kind of bummed about not giving it 5 stars, I needed a palate cleanser, and so this definitely served that. So this is about Baja. He works for this organization known as Relic. They are an organization that they mainly will do heists and steal back fossils that have been stolen from museums or other places that have fossils, so that they make sure the fossils go to the right places and are preserved and appreciated, as opposed to just being put in someone's trophy room, right? So we have Baja and then we have Jackson. So they are both dinosaur shifters, and Baja is a Spinosaurus shifter, and Jackson shifts into a Quetzalcoatlus, which is basically a huge bird-like dinosaur. I know I had seen them before. Like, I had to look this up while I was reading the book because I was like, what the hell is that? And I didn't even know how to pronounce the word. This is what it looks like. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see because of how I have my focus, but yeah, Quetzalcoatlus. What a weird word. But yeah, so Jackson does not work for Relic, but he's brought in because he has connections to this dude who runs this cruise ship. And this cruise basically hangs out around Portugal, from what I understood. And this is basically just an auction cruise where the guy that runs it, he brings in artifacts and fossils and things like that just to be sold off to these millionaires and billionaires. And so because Jackson has a connection to this guy, he can get onto the cruise. And so he brings Baja with him, and they pose as fiancés to look legit to the people on this cruise. So there's this very specific Spinosaurus fossil that is going to be sold at auction. And so this book was so much fun. I think I loved it pretty much almost just as much as Smash and Grab. I think if I had to pick one, I probably would pick this one just because I loved the Grumpy Sunshine dynamic between Baja and Jackson. I loved the idea of them being on this like exclusive luxury cruise ship, and they had to pretend to be engaged to each other. There was a lot of action, adventure, a really great romance as well. So this kind of has something for everyone. It kind of has everything, and this is a pretty short book. It was only like a 7-hour audiobook, so you'll definitely fly through it because the pacing is just immaculately done. This is just fantastic. Like I said, if you need a palate cleanser, if you're feeling kind of slumpy, this would definitely be the book to go with. I don't know what I want to jump into next, but if you're curious as to why I'm sporting these pin curls, I am participating in a fundraising concert for my local community theater. So where I live, which is around the New Orleans area, we had Hurricane Ida last fall, and it devastated specifically my hometown area, which is about 20 to 30 minutes outside of New Orleans. And so my local community theater, their roof was severely damaged. I think they ended up losing pretty much everything, like costumes and things that were stored at that building. But they have finally finished all their renovations, and so to celebrate that and to raise funds for the organization, they are having this Bringing Back Broadway concert. And so I'm going to be singing Memory from Cats, and then I'm also singing What Is This Feeling from Wicked with my friend slash boss. So I'm really excited about that. There's going to be 2 performances, one in the afternoon, one at night. And so to prepare my hair to stay curly all day, I took a shower a little while ago, so I washed my hair and then I put my hair in elevated pin curls. So yeah, that's why I'm sporting this look. And that's gonna be it for this update. I feel like I've been talking forever. Oh my goodness, I am gonna need to edit this clip down, but hopefully I'll have some clips from the concert tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys later. Do some multitasking. I'm going to take off my makeup and do my skincare routine while I give you guys an update about today. I am exhausted. Oh my goodness. First of all, my sleep schedule has been poo-poo, like absolute poop. Like I got maybe 4 hours of sleep last night because I've been getting into the horrible habit of staying up until like 5, sometimes 6 a.m. and then sleeping in. But today I couldn't sleep in because I had to get ready for the fundraiser concert that I told you guys about last night. So I got up around like 10:30, 11 a.m., something like that. And basically we had 2 performances. So we had one at 2:30 and then another one at 7. So usually I find time during the day to take a little cat nap, a little power nap, because my sleep schedule has been so bad. But obviously today I didn't have that time. All right, next up I'm gonna use the Garnier Skin Active Micellar Cleansing Water, because after using the cleansing balm, I usually have a little bit of makeup residue still left over. So let's get into a reading update. So I started the audiobook for Marrying Winterborn by Lisa Kleypas late last night. I only listened to, I think, literally a chapter. And then today I was listening to more of the audiobook while driving to and from where the concert was. So this is about Rhys Winterborn and Helen Ravenel. So this is book 2 in the Ravenel series. So I am really enjoying this book so far. I love that these audiobooks are narrated by Mary Jane Wells. She is one of my top favorite historical romance narrators. Love her so much. But I got a comment from one of my subscribers a couple weeks back when I did a TBR video that featured this book. And they said, you know, hey, you really should read book 1 of the series, Cold Hearted Rake, just to get more context about Helen and Rhys's romance. And I didn't really listen to that commenter because Cold Hearted Rake, which is book 1 of the series, like all of my friends have given that book like 3 stars, and I don't want to read a 3-star book, right? So I went straight into this book, not realizing that a good chunk of Helen and Rhys's romance happens in Cold Hearted Rake. There's kind of a lot that's happened between the 2 of them before this book even starts. For instance, we learn in the first chapter that they already kind of had a romance going in the first book. Basically, Rhys gets into a train accident with another character, I can't remember who, and so there must be a caretaking scene in Cold Hearted Rake where Helen is taking care of Rhys, and so I think through that experience they fall for each other and they became engaged. Then there's kind of like some miscommunication that happens between the 2 of them. Like, I think he kisses Helen and she freaks out because that was her first kiss and she like does not know what she's doing at all. And so I think she kind of pushes him away and like runs away from the room. And so Rhys interprets that as Helen being disgusted by him and wanting to break off the engagement. And I think that idea solidifies further in his head when Catherine, she might be the heroine of book 1, I don't know, but she's Helen's sister. Catherine tells Reese that Helen wants nothing to do with him. So yeah, I guess all of that happened in book 1. So now at the beginning of this book, Helen shows up to Reese's department store. He owns a very successful department store in London. By the way, I am using now the Ordinary's Buffet Serum. So yeah, she shows up to the department store to be like, hey, I didn't want to break off the engagement. I just freaked out when you kissed me and I had a headache that other time you wanted to see me. I don't know why Catherine told you that I would never want to see you again. And so then they hatch this plan that they want to get married as soon as possible, and the best way to make that happen would be if Reese ruins Helen. And so I'm 2 hours into the audiobook now, and so they're kind of still planning their marriage. Basically, Reese wants to get married sooner than Helen does because she is in a mourning period for, I think, her brother, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, 2 hours into this, and it's abundantly clear that I've missed a lot of context between these two because I didn't read book 1. So I'm gonna stop the audiobook where I am now, and I am gonna go back and read book 1 before I get too far into this one. By the way, I'm now using the CeraVe Hydrating Hyaluronic Acid Serum. So yeah, like, I am a little bit annoyed that their story is so dependent on book 1. And I should have known better because that definitely is the case with the Hathaway series as well. I should know better by now that Lisa Kleypas definitely interconnects books in series even more than like any other historical romance author I've ever read from. So yeah, a little annoyed that I have to go back, but at the same time, I really want the full context of Helen and Reese's relationship and romance. So yeah, I'm gonna end this update there. I'm just gonna finish up my skincare routine with the Differin Restorative Night Moisturizer, and I will give you guys a final update for the week tomorrow. Hey guys, so it is Sunday night. By the way, I'm gonna call myself out here. My tongue is red because I was eating some Starburst before I turn on the camera. So sorry, not sorry, you're getting the real Rachel in these vlogs. So I have a couple of books to update you guys about. It's almost 10 p.m. on Sunday. I want to just go ahead and do a final update for this week 1 vlog so I can get it all edited and uploaded. I did go ahead and start Cold Hearted Rake by Lisa Kleypas. I'm about 45 minutes into the audiobook for this. I'm so glad that I decided to stop Marrying Winterborn. I was about 25% of the way through and start this book, because this book really is the setup that I need for the Ravenel family and the series as a whole. So basically what we have going on is our hero is Devon, and he is a distant cousin of this man Theo, who was an earl, but he was thrown from his horse and he died because of that. And so now Devon is the new earl. And so then our heroine is Kathleen, who is now the widow of Theo. So with the earldom that Devon has now inherited comes a lot of debt. And Devon does not have the funds needed to restore all these properties and to run them and things like that. And also Theo has left behind Kathleen, his now widow, and Kathleen's 3 younger sisters who are still living at the estate. And so things start off on the wrong foot between Kathleen and Devon, because she overhears him talking to his brother West. And he's like, I don't give a shit about this estate. I certainly don't care about these women that Theo has left behind. And his goal is to basically just try to get rid of all these responsibilities as quickly as possible. And so yeah, she overhears all of that. And so things do not start off well between these two, but I'm already very intrigued about these 2 main characters and the relationships between all the different characters that we've been introduced to so far. Like I said, I'm only 45 minutes in right now. I am waiting for the ebook to come in from my library. I use Libby. That's the app that most libraries use. So hopefully that loan comes in soon, because I really would prefer to have both the ebook and the audiobook. That's how I prefer to read, is by listening to the audiobook version and following along with a physical or an ebook copy. So right now I just have the audiobook. So I'll probably listen to the audiobook when I'm driving and things like that, but hopefully that loan comes in soon for the ebook. And then I also started The Dark King by Gina L. Maxwell. So this came highly, highly recommended from Madison from Princess of Paperback. I remember her talking about this book some months back in a wrap up. She's the only person I've ever heard talk about this book. This totally gives me vibes of ACOTAR, the Shadowhunter Chronicles by Cassandra Clare, and the Dark Olympus series by Katie Robert. It's basically a fae urban fantasy romance. So we have Bryn, our heroine. She comes to Las Vegas to just take a quick little vacation. It was a spur of the moment thing that she booked. And it seems that everything is going a little too right for her. She books a hotel room at Nightfall, which is this crazy opulent hotel that the hero owns, and I'll get to him in a second. But when she gets there, her room was double booked or something. And so then the manager of the hotel is like, hey, we'll just upgrade you to a suite at no extra charge. And then she also wins a good chunk of change at the casino. So there's like a lot of things that are just going too well for her. And then we have Caden, our hero, who is fae. He is the king of the dark fae of the Night Court. So basically him and his family built Las Vegas into what it is now, which is a really interesting take on the rise of Las Vegas. And so he like owns so many like clubs, and he owns Nightfall, like I said, the hotel. Like he owns a lot of properties in Las Vegas while also being the king of the Night Court. And so something we're told about is there was this curse put upon the royal bloodlines of both the Night Court and the Day Court. And so they all got banished from the Fae realm. And so that's why they ended up in Vegas in the first place. And so Bryn and Caden end up having a one-night stand, and this is very early on in the book, so I'm not spoiling anything, I promise. But they end up waking up the next morning and they're married to each other. And so neither Bryn nor Caden knows what the hell happened the night before. They have a couple of glimpses of what happened between the two of them, but they have no idea why they are now married to each other. And so Caden's like, okay, I'm gonna get in touch with my people and let's get this marriage annulled. Okay, thanks, bye. He leaves. So it sounds like several curses were put on his bloodline, and one of them is that if he is separated from his mate, his health will start to quickly deteriorate and he will eventually die. And so that's how they realize that their marriage must have been like an official fae wedding ceremony, is because he starts to basically die. And so right where I left off, I'm about like 27% of the way through. Their solution is just to kidnap Bryn and keep her in the same house as him, but like in a separate room. So a little bit of like a Beauty and the Beast vibe going on, but I'm really enjoying this so far. I did see that Sam hated this book, but I don't think that Sam and I have all that similar of reading taste anyway. So I'm not shocked that I'm really enjoying it when she really hated it. But yeah, that's the progress I've made so far today. It feels a little weird to end a vlog while in the middle of a couple of books, but since these are weekly reading vlogs, you guys will definitely get updates as I finish these couple of books in the next vlog. So I hope that you guys are enjoying this Vlogmas content from me so far. I definitely hope that you all will continue to watch these vlogs as I come out with them as well. I need to edit this vlog. So with all that being said, definitely leave a like and subscribe. And I thank you so much in advance if you do. Also, definitely leave a comment down below if you want to discuss any of the books that I brought up in this video. And I will see you guys in next week's vlog. Bye, everyone.